Be'ezrat Hashem. Just as a recap of the last pasuk that we learned, the Gaon, and we're talking about we're in Perek Yudchet, pasuk Tetzain. Matan Adam yarchiv lo v'lifnei gedolim yanchenu, right? That the tzedakah that a person gives broadens and expands his parnasa, puts him in front of gedolim, brings him close to chokhmah, yes, gets him a bigger Gan Eden. And Al Pi Asod, the Gaon wants, brings the Tikkun Zohar. He says, Matan Adam, right? What does the person give? He says it's referring to the Ot Yud. It's referring to the Ot Yud. And the Tikkun Zohar speaks about the Od Berit Kodesh, which is a Vav and a Yud, which is there's a Vav and a Yud on it, which is a Zayin. Zayin Zat Tzaddik. It's Shabbat Kodesh, right? That's what the mitzvah Peruvu is on Shabbat Kodesh. Yes, and it says and that's the pshat of Shehora Ni Venava. I might be black outside, but inside I am beautiful. Okay, meaning although there might be a Yetzer Hara and the Od Berit Kodesh might be referred as something that is negative, okay, aval inside, in its essence, na'ava, right? It brings life. It's the koach ha'chaim. And he says this is exactly the mala of the Ot Yud. The Yud, yes, it's a small letter. It's a letter that is almost insignificant, yet it's the most important. Why? Because you find it in every letter. In every letter of the Torah, you find the Yud. And the Zohar Hadash says that's the Pshat, actually on the Pasuk that we're going to read in this week's parasha. Okay? והנה שלושה נשים ניצבים עליו, כן? Three people came to him, ניצבים are in front of him, כן? והוא עומד עליהם. Avraham Avinu, that represents the Yud, as a stand on top of him. Meaning that the Yud, yes, although it is the smallest letter, it has no real shape. Yes, but the Yud represents the Chokhmah, yes, and it represents the essence of all the Kavbet Utiyot, while it stays the Yud, it still stays the Yud, meaning the Yud does not change ever. Yes, it doesn't become an Aleph, it doesn't become a Vav, it doesn't become a Zayin. It's a Yud. It's a Yud. But the power of the Chokhmah, the power of the Yud is to give life to all the rest of the alphabet, all the rest of the Aleph-Bet. Yes, be at the essence of each letter. So it gives life to the entire Torah Kedosha, but it stays Anav as the Yud. It says that's the Gadol, the Tzaddik, the person that represents, that has the Chokhmah, is a person that is Be'etzem, yes, when you look at him, yes, so he's a Yud, he's small, he makes himself small. But in essence, when he teaches Torah, when he shares his Torah, that's when the Chokhmah comes, and that's when you reveal how powerful and how essential the tzaddik is, right? So katan begodlo, bekamut, aval gadol beichut, right? It's small in its size, but it's immense in its essence. And that's the koach of the Yud of Havaya, of the Yud Kevavke. So too, the Yud of the Od Berit Kodesh, the Tikkun HaZohar calls it what? Kiryat Melech Rav, the city of a great Melech, right? Why? Because although the Od Berit Kodesh is tiny, yes, but from it comes life, and comes right? The whole purpose, the realization of the whole purpose of creation, which is like the Sefer HaChinuch writes, right? That's what if there's why Peru Vu is the first mitzvah of the Torah, because it's the foundation of all mitzvot. Because if there's no Peru Vu, yes, you cannot accomplish any other mitzvot. Right? So it has to be the first mitzvah. It is the foundation of all mitzvot. Right? So too the Yud of the Od Berit Kodesh, like the Tikkun Hazor wants to address, yes, in the same matter. It brings life, and it's the although it's tiny, it's like a Yud, but yes, it brings everything. It brings the Mekor HaChaim. Any sheelot on that hashlama of Pasuk Tet Zayin?
And can you explain the part about Friday, about the essence of it being mitzvah on Friday night again? Can you just go back to that for a second?
Because the Zayin, the letter Zayin of the Tikkun Hazor talk about Zarka. So so he says that the Zayin is what? It's a Vav and a Yud, right? Just like the Od Berit Kodesh. And Zayin is a Shabbat Kodesh, right? And the mitzvah Peru is on Shabbat Kodesh, right? Me'erev Shabbat le'erev Shabbat. That's when the Yehud happens between the Ducha and the Nukva, right? And the Tzaddik also is the Pchina of the Zayin, right? So why? Because the tzaddik is not only focused on the vav, but is revealing the yud of the vav that sits on the vav, right? Which is the atara, and that's the kedusha, and from there comes the tzidkut, comes the bracha, comes the hayim. Just like Shabbat is the source of life for the entire week, so too, yes, the zayin becomes the Shabbat, becomes brings life. Why? Because of the yud that sits on the vav. Because the Shabbat comes on the 6 days of the week, right? So the Shabbat is the B'china of Yud that is mashlim the Vav to make Zayin. That's Matan. That's the. That's what Shlomo Melech says. Ir ketana, a small town, a small ir is what. That's the Yud again. But what? Matan Adan yachiv lo. It gives a lot. It gives life. ולפני גדולים ינחנו, and it sits amongst the גדולים, דהיינו, it sits among גדולים, the youth sits among the צדיקים, the קדושים, the טהורים. The youth resides with them. And it comes as a completion of the Vav, which is the Yesod, right? With the Yud and makes it now Zayin. Because the Yud sits on top of the Vav. So you see that from a tiny little yud, yes, how you bring from mundanity, which is Sheshet Bereshit, to you elevate everything to the Ma'ala of Shabbat Kodesh, right? Yes, good. Okay. Pasuk Yud Zayin. צדיק הראשון בריבו, ובא רעהו וחקרו. The first tzaddik, the first righteous that comes, it comes with a fight, berivo, okay? Or the tzaddik harishon berivu. When there's a fight, the first one that comes is the tzaddik. But when somebody else comes after, right, you have to choker, you have to examine, you have to test, and you have to ask questions. There is such a also such a law of Girsa Kama Girsa Batra, Girsa Karma Kaimalan. That what when you have a first Girsa, when somebody tells you a first version and then he changes the version, yes, the first version happens to be right. If you choker the second version, you'll see that there's shaker there, and it happens most of the time. The first version that was said is the more accurate one. But that's so says the guy on the following. He says that Shlomo Melech is referring here to the growth of a person. He says in the beginning, a person is born with Yetzer Hara. And because the person is born with the Yetzer Hara, and he grows with the Yetzer Hara, and he identifies himself through the Yetzer Hara. Tzaddik be'enav, in his eyes, he's a tzaddik. That's his nature. That's his behavior. This is who he is. Those are his limitations. Those are his fears. These are his strengths. Yes, whatever he was carved to become through the years of youth, that's how he identifies himself. This is who I am. However, says the Gaon, afterwards, ואחר ובא רעהו, comes his friend. And who's his friend? Yetzer HaTov. Now the Yetzer HaTov has a downside. Why? He has a challenge because he's coming after the Yetzer Hara has already established himself and take control of the person and the identity of the person. So says the Gaon, says Shlomo Amelech v'chakaro, to be tachkor oto, question him, get involved with it. And what happens? You will end up realizing that what seems to be not interesting, what seems to be painful, what seems to be not great from the Yetzer HaTov, yes, in reality it's very good. I mean, you can only get to the bottom of the Tov if you really invest time and effort in understanding the Tov. Naturally, you will reject the Tov because of the Yetzer Hara that's already within the person. Yes. So Shlomo HaMelech says, no, if you really want to reveal your potential and you want to build yourself through the Yetzer HaTov, make sure to invest effort and time to understand it, tahkor, question it, dive into it, find out about it, and only then will you reveal the beauty of the Tov, and that's how you're going to want to be now connecting to the Yetzer HaTov and shying away and going, leaving the Yetzer Hara. Yes, it's a very, very important lesson. Chaora, when you have Tov and you have Ra, it's easy. You say, what do you mean? I'm going to choose the Tov. But that's only if you have objective eyes. The issue is that nobody has objective eyes. We all have subjective eyes. We look at things based on who we are and how we molded ourselves, right? So naturally, what can objectively be good will be bad in our eyes because we see through the lenses of the Yetzer Hara. But it's only once you break yourself, you break your head to truly understand and connect to the essence of the Tov, that you realize that it's Tov and you now emotionally want it, and that's how you push away the bad. And is that pasuk clear? טוב, פסוק י"ח. מדיינים ישבית הגורל. The goral, the goral is when you throw the dice or whatever, yes? Will take away the Midianim, meaning the fights. Uben Atsumim Yafrid, and he will separate between the core of the fights, the intensity between two parties. Says the Gaons as follows. When you have two parties fighting over something, this one says it's mine, the other one says it's mine. And you can't get to the bottom of it. Says Shlomo HaMelech, you know what you do? Make a goral. Throw the coin. As Yishvot Ariv, and the fight will stop. Why? And so too, Mechila, he says, we'll get back to it. So too, Ben Atzumim. Now, what's Ben Atzumim? He says, Kol De'alim Gavar. If you have two people that are willing to fight over something, and whoever is the strongest should win. Instead of exposing the strength, yes, and we know that it's not because you're stronger, that means you really have it. Nachon? So maybe the other party really deserves it. It's really his. And the fact that you're stronger, you're just a pusher, you're pushing the other guy. So what if you do a goral, that's how you stop the fight between the two. Why? Because if you understand that Akol Min Hashamayim, if you do the goral, then you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has decided. Yes. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that this is it's supposed to be his or it's supposed to be yours, and with that the fight is over. Yes. So basically, which is very interesting concept, right? It's even a little bit surprising that when you cannot come to a resolution of a dispute, okay, we'll take a coin, we'll throw the coin, choose a side, and whatever side happens, we agree. Well, says Shlomo HaMelech, this is how you solve quarrels when you cannot get to the bottom of things. Only, and that's a caveat here. Only if you both have emunah that akol me'et Hashem. Yes, and now you know how to accept the fate and say, okay, ze me'et Hashem. Because if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted me to have it, then I would have, the coin would have fallen on the side that I chose. An interesting way of solving dispute, financial dispute.
Rabbi, it seems kind of hard to understand because someone that has emunah in Hashem, that everything is from him, is not going to have a physical fight, right? We're talking about them to avoid the physical fight. We're going to let them go out. So how can someone be hit another? I mean, if it's a physical fight, how would they
No, called
Chas v'shalom
Danim
ever
Gavar,
have?
lav davka physical. Lavka, it can be also
Okay,
just
in
you
Bedin,
have more resources. You can take one lawyer. I can now bring an army of lawyers.
and why can't they come to a pshara before that?
They
Wouldn't
can't.
it be
They both believe that their
so? It's
claim is
all or
right.
nothing. They both want all or nothing.
נכון, זה אומר שלי וזה אומר שלי. Okay? So how do you solve the problem? They can't resolve the issue. Now you would think, go to Bedin. Yes? But for some reason that's not an option. For whatever reason that's not an option. Says Shlomo HaMelech. Yes? הפלפול הוא הגורל. Let's throw a coin and let's do the goral and let the goral decide. Now, I'm simplifying the concept of throwing a coin. Yes, there's many ways of doing a goral. It could be the goral of a goral agra. It could be the goral of of the Sefarite. I could. There's many ways of doing a goral. Yes, but the pshat is like you let go of the control, knowing that whatever we're gonna decide, whatever comes out, which is totally out of my control, yes, of both of their control, of both parties' control. Yeah, that's Hakadosh Baruch Hu talking. And that's why it's Shlomo Amelash and Midyanim, when there's a fight, Yashbit Goral, the Goral will appease it. Uben Atzumim Yafrid, and he will separate the Atzumim, the fight, the intense fight, the Otzma, the intensity. Okay? This whole concept of Goral is, Omer Darsheni, huh? Because you're playing, it's almost like it becomes random, and you're forcing Hakadosh Baruch Hu to bring out a psak, okay, through the ma'arichet, through the system of randomness of the world, kiviyachol randomness. But that pasuk is connected to the next one. We'll see. Let's look at pasuk Yutet. Ach nifshar mikiryat Oz. Ach, a brother shenifshar that was offended, that was found guilty, but he's a brother, is greater Mikiryat Oz than a strong city, makom of strength. Umidyanim kibriya harmon, and this fight can is and is better than Umidyanim kibriya harmon, right? Than a bariach is a lock of a fort of a harmon of a fortress. So says the Gaon. Amelach continues with the inner of the Goral. When there is a Goral, yes, you have two brothers or whatever, a dispute in a family, and the Goral shows that one has to go. It's not his. So now the person has to leave his family. That's the Achnif Shah. Has to leave his friends. Okay? And he has to go away from his Kiryat Uzo, from his comfort zone, from his makom of strength. And now he becomes a ger, he becomes like a stranger in another place. All this because of the Goran. Midyanim kebariach arbon. Says the guy, just like the bariach, the lock, yes, that protects a castle of a king, is extremely strong. And whoever closes himself with that bariach, right, is in a safe place and nobody can now enter. So too, the Goral separates, yes, the two parties from one coming after the other, meaning the Goral will like cuts, becomes like a psak that slices the din, and now nobody can come after the other person's gain, because that's what the Goral the Goral came like. It's like a Kadosh Baruch Hu talking and slicing the din. And now there's no more dispute whatsoever. Somebody showed me once that, I think it's even in the Bukharian community, if I'm not mistaken, somebody Bukharian is in construction. And every time there's a difference in price between the contractor and what he wants to pay, he says, okay, you want 15,000, I want 10,000, okay, well, let's throw the coin. And whatever comes out, this is what happens. Huh? And they have to agree on that. If I finish, there's no more to discuss. It doesn't matter the cause, doesn't matter not the cause, doesn't matter what you thought, what you didn't think. Yeah, that's what we agreed upon. Finish. Nigmar asipo. So even the dispute, there's nothing to discuss anymore. There's nothing to claim. There's nothing to discuss. There's no merivot. Why? Sheken nigzar mehashem. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gazar that this is it. Like it's a way to have Hashem's intervention in a dispute and make the decision. And he brings a pasuk, right? If you recall, at the end of Perek Tet Zayin, right? Shlomo Amer said, "Bahek yutal et agoral umeHashem kol mishpato." Okay, that you think the Gaon says there. We said a person may think, all my success comes from me. Bekochi ubeotzem yadi. But in reality, even the goral, when it says the goral, even when a person makes a goral, behek yutal et goral, even the goral that is made, okay, me Hashem. It comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kol mishpat, everything that happens comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says Shlomo HaMelech. So we have a proof that even the goral, says Shlomo, is me'et Hashem, comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If that's the case, אז למה לריב? There's no makom to fight. And it says the Gaon, this is the level of emunah a person should have. And this is what Ben Azai refers to when he says, Beshimcha yikarucha, they will call your name. Ubimkomcha yoshivucha, they will sit you at your right place, at your righteous place. Umishelcha yitnu lacha, and they will give you of yours, meaning whatever they have, they will know that it comes from you. Ve'en adam nogea b'muchan lechavaro, and nobody touches whatever the other person should get. Ve'en malchut, and ve'en malchut nogea b'malchuta, and there's no malchut that can touch another malchut. Meaning, a person rises to the level of emunah and bitachon in Hashem, that he understands that it's all from you. It's all from you. And through that level of emunah and bitachon, Shlomo HaMelech tells us that you solve macholoket and dispute. Huh? Yes, meaning there is no solution to a dispute unless you rise to a level of emunah that is tremendous, to the point where even a goral, even a coin can stop the bleeding between two parties and solve the issue and bring shalom. He wants to say that the Ben Azai, where did he learn that pasuk? Where did he learn that ma'amar? From our pasuk. because Ben Azai says 5 things. He says, Beshimcha ikarucha. He says that's ach nifsha. Why? Because the brother carries the name of the family, right? That's Beshimcha. Ubimkomcha yoshivucha. That's Kiryat Uzo. That's the makom yishuv of the person, right? That's his city that he lives in. That's his comfort zone. Umishelcha itnu lecha. That's the yashvit. Can yashvit. אין האדם נוגע במוכן לחברו, that's עצומים יפריד, right? One cannot touch the other, right? כל דאלים גבר. ואין מלכות נוגע במלכות חברתה, that's בריח הארמון, that's the lock of the fortress. Meaning, Ben Azai took that pasuk and created the mashalim around it to explain and extrapolate the level of emunah and bitachon one must have in order to be able to even see, yes, in a coin, the Dvar Hashem.
So as just it's not so simple as just being mevater and letting the coin flip and whatever happens happens. It's the emunah that you have to have in that simple process.
That's right.
That basic process.
That is completely mundane when you think about it.
Correct.
And like it's like that's why I use the word like it's almost that you use the randomness because it's random. You throw a coin and it seems completely random how it's going to fall, right?
Yeah, Dan, I did one last week.
And
Mazalito?
in it, see the Yad Hashem. Yeah, it's bringing Ashgachat Hashem to the most mundane way of doing things.
Yeah.
And Ben Azai break it down into 5 things, meaning what? Beshimcha yikraucha, meaning you have to break your shem. You have to be able. You cannot hold on to your shem in your ego. That's ach nifsha. Ubimkomcha yoshivucha, you cannot rely on your comfort zone and your and your relationships. Umishel chayitnu lecha, that's you cannot rely on your financial strength. ואין אדם נוגע במוכן לחברו, you cannot rely on the power, your social power that you have. ואין מלכות נוגע במלכות חברתה, that's the בריח הארמון, and don't think that because you have status, yes, maybe you can use that status. Meaning you have to break all those layers of self-confidence, כביכול, yes, or securities, in order, it's like you're peeling an onion until you expose that level of vulnerability in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and emunah and bitachon, and only then can you now see the Koach Hashem and allow Hashem to express Himself through that randomness, through that goral.
Can you explain, just go back for a second about the beginning part of the pasuk? Sorry, when you first explained about the 2 brothers, one is
Yes.
leaving the city and he has to start over his entire life. I didn't understand how that.
That's a continuation of Yud Chet. He's saying
Right.
the goral will make what? Will separate 2 parties, right? Even to a brother that now has to leave, okay, but because the goal was not in his favor, right? So but how far does it go? That it says it's better than a quarrel, right? The ach nifsha mikirat oz is better than through the goral, right? So a brother that was defeated and has to leave Kiryat Oz, his family and his comfort zone, is better and come through the goral, right? Umidanim keberiyah harmon, and the goral makes it that now what? That the separation is so strong that it's like everybody's locked up in their own safe location. That's nobody can come in. Meaning you cannot come with any dispute anymore. Yeah, that's the power of the goral, and that's better than obviously than the machloket and the fight. But how do you get there? You only get there through the power of that emunah that you infuse in nature and in your life to such a level that even a coin can be a way for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to speak to you and interact with you.
Just as a point of curiosity, if Shimon Reuben takes Shimon to Bedin after they did a go out, does the Bedin say, "I'm sorry, we're not getting involved"? So go out was already.
No, but if it no, you
I know it's a
cannot.
little off topic. Sorry, but
No, but
just wanted
if they both sign, okay, a shtar goral, where they both agree that whatever the goral will say, just like there's a shtar borerut, you go to a bedin, you sign a shtar that whatever the bedin will decide, you have to accept. Or so too if it's a mediator. So you say, okay, we're gonna sign a shtar that whatever the goral says, we agree. Right? That's how you bring siyata dishmaya in the goral, and the goral comes out to be like dvar Hashem. But it's only if you infuse the goral with emunah and bitachon.
Someone walked into my office. Sorry, I'm explaining. I'm explaining.
Okay. נפלא, no? No, זה פלא, but I think that Shlomo HaMelech is really coming also to add another layer, meaning it's not only that this you could do that, is you should develop your emunah to a level where where you're able to do that. Yet, stam to throw a coin and expect something in return might not really be the Dvar Hashem. It's only because you have the emunah and bitachon that now HaKadosh Baruch Hu can speak through the coin, through the goral. And that's how you solve all the issues. Shlomo HaMelech says, when you have a level of bitachon that's so deep, yes, and at such a low level of which is the coin, kivyachol, yes, then you solve all your problems. Then there's no more machloket. Then
Rabbi,
there's no fight anymore. Eh?
there's no chance that it's wrong?
Oh, so that's what I was saying. No, it depends if you have emunah or not. If you have emunah and you put your bitachon in it, it cannot be wrong. And that's the emunah. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu Gazach Kacha. Why? Because Hashem controls everything. Yes? So and Emet, if he wanted you to win, then you would have won. And if he wants the person to lose, he's going to lose. That's not going to change anything.
That's the flip out of three or one then.
What?
I have to turn off the mute.
What?
Is it best out of three or only one flip?
No, the Goral, we're talking about Goral now. We're not talking about best one of
There,
okay? So that's how deep and how far a person has to develop his emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so he can allow HaKadosh Baruch Hu to now speak to him through the most mundane possible way of interaction, which is the Goral.
why can't someone who believes the same ideology, or maybe it is, but can a tzaddik who's really hit this level walk around all day with like mamash saying, Hashem, should I do this or should I do that, and flip a coin? Hashem, should I go here or should I go there, and flip a coin?
Eliezer did. Yaakov Avinu did. We found the Olam that when they couldn't have clarity, they did. Yeah, obviously, you don't do that all the time. You only do that when you come as Safek HaShakul. Reb Chaim Kanievsky did it. Reb Chaim did Goral Agra when he had a Safek HaShakul. When he couldn't find an answer, he did Goral Agra. But the Goral Agra wasn't throwing a coin, huh?
the message is so much deeper.
Vadai, it's much deeper than that. You don't stop at the
Much
Goral.
deeper than the mundane. It's the goal won't work if you don't have if you don't believe.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. Meaning you need to be able to be at such a level of emunah so that now you open the gates of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's intervention in a level of the Goral.
This applies to everything that we do.
Nachon. Correct. Nachon.
Not just resolving a dispute.
Anything that you do, as long as you're able to bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu to that level, that's how he's going to speak.
bring Hashem into your interactions. We've learned this before.
נכון, 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 נכון. But I think it's even, I think it's a grotesque, it's like almost like a crude way of expressing, yes, the level of emunah you need to have. Like it's almost like almost bezilzul. Like this is how far you have to go, all the way to the Goral, which is, when you think about it, the Goral is an insult to the intellect of a person. You're insulting is the most fundamental definition of man is a Goral, because it's completely absurd and without any control, right? Even in nature, there's no Goral. Even nature has a seder. Goral is going against all seder.
How far back does this concept go? That Shlomo Melech is talking about it. When was it used? When do we know, like, when the first time it was used?
I told you
we have
the
reference?
Torah testifies that Eliezer Eved Avraham, right? When he says, "Oh, I'm going to go, and if this is what she says, and if this is what it is, then I know that this is that's Goran."
That's the same thing.
That's what it's exactly the same thing.
It
He
could have
doesn't
been
know what he's
anybody.
going.
Could
He
have
doesn't
been
know.
anybody who said that, and any girl who said that, basically, is what you're saying.
What?
It could have been any girl who said these things or
Yeah,
did these things.
exactly. He didn't know. But the girl that's going to tell me, I'll make the drink, and Tov,
Shem Tov, yeah.
Bezrat Hashem. So we just finished Yutet, Perek Yutchet, Pasuk Yutet.
Thank you, Rabbi. Love you.
Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Besimcha.